When I was 21 years old, I got a call that changed my life. It was my doctor informing me that I had tested positive for the BRCA2 genetic mutation.
Minutes ago, it was revealed that Kayleigh McEnany, a familiar face from Fox News and former White House press secretary, has undergone a dramatic medical procedure after discovering she carries a gene that massively increases her risk of breast cancer. Facing an 84% likelihood of developing the disease, she decided to have a preventive double mastectomy, sparking urgent conversations on health and genetic testing. Tune in to see how this revelation will change the conversation about preventive health measures on Fox News and beyond. Kayleigh McEnany's exploration with BRCA2 mutation. After a medical checkup, it was revealed had a BRCA2 genetic mutation. This condition significantly increases their risk of developing breast cancer, with the likelihood being as high as 84%. She, someone you might know from her time as the White House press secretary for President Donald Trump, also tested positive for this mutation. She's become a well-known figure in American politics and media, especially during her time in the Trump administration. But recently, she made headlines again for undergoing a preventive double mastectomy to reduce her cancer risk, and her decision has sparked a lot of conversations about health. She made a big choice to stay healthy. Now everyone is wondering who else is at risk and what happens next. She was born on April 18, 1988 in Tampa, Florida, and grew up in a business-focused family. Her early experiences in her family's business helped her understand the power of clear communication, which would later be important in her career. She had a passion for politics from a young age and pursued that interest at Georgetown University, where she studied political science and international relations. She also spent some time studying at Oxford University in England before coming back to the US to attend Harvard Law School. There, she sharpened her skills in analyzing complex legal issues and deepened her understanding of American law and conservative principles. While at Harvard, she took part in political debates, often standing up for conservative views. These experiences shaped her political beliefs and helped her become a strong voice for conservative ideas. After finishing law school, she shifted her career from law to media, starting as a producer on Mike Huckabee's television show. Soon, she became a political commentator on CNN, where she defended conservative positions during the heated 2016 presidential campaign. Her ability to explain complicated political issues in simple terms, even in the middle of intense debates, made her stand out in the world of political commentary. After CNN, she joined the Trump campaign and was later chosen as the national spokesperson for the Republican National Committee in 2017. This was a big step in her career, as it put her in a key position to represent the party. President Trump valued her strong defense of his policies and brought her on as his press secretary in 2020. But this wasn't the most challenging part of her career. As press secretary, she faced a demanding and highly visible job. Known for her preparedness and sometimes combative style during press briefings, she quickly became a must-watch figure, both for those who supported and criticized the Trump administration. She used her platform to promote the administration's successes while addressing the many criticisms it faced, navigating Washington's intense political environment with skill. When her time in the White House ended, she didn't fade from the public eye. She joined Fox News as an on-air commentator, where her insider knowledge of the Trump administration and sharp analysis gave her a unique perspective. Her role at Fox allowed her to continue advocating for conservative policies, and she became a key figure on the network, often participating in panel discussions and influencing how major political events were covered. In 2018, she made the difficult decision to undergo a preventive double mastectomy after losing her mother to breast cancer and learning she carried the BRCA2 mutation. This surgery was a proactive health decision, but also an opportunity for her to raise awareness about genetic testing and preventive health care. By sharing her experience, she hoped to empower other women at high risk for breast cancer to explore their health options and talk to their doctors about preventive measures. She made a tough decision, but she shared with others that she felt relieved knowing breast cancer was likely not a battle she would have to fight. After her recovery, she openly discussed the physical, emotional, and mental challenges of the surgery and how her faith supported her during those hard times. In both personal struggles and national challenges, she often said her faith gave her strength when life was difficult. But this wasn't the end of the challenges in her life. Recently, there has been some tension between her and former President Trump. While she was once a loyal defender of his policies, Trump has publicly criticized her several times. His comments, often shared on social media, have questioned her loyalty and the direction she's taken since her time in the White House. Some believe Trump's remarks are part of a strategy to maintain control over the Republican narrative, while others think they stem from specific comments she made during her time on Fox News, like when she talked about his poll numbers against other candidates, including Nikki Haley. Neil Cavuto, a well-known face on Fox News, has always stayed humble despite his success. He credits his achievements to a mix of hard work and good timing. But in 1997, Neil's life took a difficult turn when he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a disease that affects the nervous system. This condition was especially hard for someone in the fast-paced world of live TV. It caused him to feel very tired, weakened his muscles, and gave him trouble with his vision, making his job even harder. But he didn't give up. He continued working, pushing through these challenges while on air. He believed that life's difficulties aren't just about what knocks you down, but how you get back up. His challenges didn't stop there. He also had to face cancer. At just 29 years old, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of cancer that affects the lymphatic system. Even with such scary news, he kept working while undergoing chemotherapy and radiation treatments. These experiences made him think about how short and fragile life can be, but it also taught him the importance of never giving up. In 2016, he had to undergo open heart surgery because of complications from his past treatments. He talked openly about how tough these health problems were, both physically and emotionally. Still, he was determined not to let them end his career. Next, we see other Fox News reporters facing their own health fights. Fox News reporters overcome big health problems. During the last health crisis, Neil spoke strongly in favor of vaccinations. Drawing from his own health experiences, he understood how important it was to protect people with health conditions like his. Even though he received a lot of criticism and even threats, he stood by his message, believing it was the right thing to do. Through all of this, his wife, Mary, and their 3 children were his biggest supporters. They gave him the strength he needed to face each new challenge. His family and his struggles have shaped him into a strong, grateful man, both in his personal life and his career. But Neil's story isn't the only one of resilience at Fox News. Another journalist, Shannon Bream, has had a unique journey. She started her career as a lawyer, focusing on employment and harassment law. Eventually, she switched gears and moved into journalism, where her legal background helped her cover important Supreme Court cases. Her clear communication and deep understanding of the law made her a respected voice on the network. In 2022, Shannon hit a major milestone when she became the first woman to anchor Fox News Sunday. But this wasn't the only significant moment in her career. Shannon has also written books that blend her legal knowledge with her faith, offering readers insights into how she balances work, belief, and resilience. Both Neil and Shannon show what it means to be dedicated and resilient, overcoming personal and professional struggles to continue informing the public with honesty and insight. For 16 years, Brett's heart condition has been challenging, but he and Amy supported each other and leaned on their faith to get through. Brett often found comfort in thinking that each day brought them closer to bringing Paul home. This hope gave them strength through all of Paul's hospital visits and medical treatments, keeping them believing that things would eventually get better. The Bayers never wanted the challenges they faced, but they found meaning and hope in them. With Brett's role at Fox News, he has raised awareness about congenital heart defects, CHD, which affect about 1% of newborns in the US each year. He's spoken with doctors and other families dealing with CHD to help inform his viewers. The Bayers are also deeply involved with the Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C., where Paul received most of his care. Brett has raised over $1 million for the hospital through charity events, and Amy serves on the hospital's foundation board. In 2023, they donated $1 million to start the Bayer Family Congenital Heart Disease Research Program at the hospital. But it wasn't all hardship. Brett sees the difficult moments as strangely beneficial. They gave his family new ways to look at life and a strong sense of purpose. Even with everything they've been through, Brett feels lucky to have his family in good health and continues his work at Fox News, reaching millions of viewers every night. Paul, now 16, has gone through several surgeries and treatments. Still, he leads a pretty active life, playing varsity golf and tennis. In May 2024, after a routine checkup, doctors found a dangerous aneurysm near his heart. He had to undergo his 5th open heart surgery. Brett called this discovery a miracle, saying it could have been deadly if it had been missed. Thankfully, Paul recovered quickly and was home just 5 days after the surgery, but that wasn't the hardest part. As they look back on their journey, the Bayers are filled with gratitude and faith. They often remember early advice from Britt Hume, telling them to trust in God and the doctors. Even though the future is uncertain, Brett, Amy, Paul, and their younger son Daniel focus on the present, their faith, and the love that keeps them going. Brett talks openly about how grateful he is and how important it is to appreciate every moment. Now, we would love to hear from you. Have you or someone you love gone through a health crisis that tested your faith? Feel free to share your story in the comments below. Kayleigh McEnany built a strong connection with many people, especially those who are loyal to the Republican Party during Trump's campaign. She wasn't just a spokesperson, she combined her knowledge of the media and politics to become a key figure in conservative politics. After her time as the White House press secretary, she quickly transitioned into a role as a commentator at Fox News. This move felt natural given her strong ties to conservative politics and her well-known presence from her days in the White House. However, her challenges didn't stop there. Recently, Trump's comments hinted at tension in their relationship. He openly criticized her, questioning her loyalty and some of her decisions since leaving the administration. Many saw this as Trump trying to keep control over the Republican narrative or reacting to some of Kayleigh's comments, especially about Nikki Haley's performance in the Republican primaries. Next, we explore how these figures handle health fears and vaccine debates, facing health fears and vaccine criticism head-on. Despite all of this, her health struggles and the political shifts, she continued to use her platform to share her experiences, both personal and professional. She talked openly about the emotional and physical toll these challenges had on her. Through it all, her faith remained a source of strength, helping her navigate tough times both in the public eye and in her personal life. Neil Cavuto has faced many health problems in his life, with heart surgery being just one of them. Despite these challenges, he didn't let them stop his career. Instead, they made him appreciate his work and impact even more. He expressed his gratitude for still being alive, and his doctor, Dr. Schieneman, motivated him to keep fighting and never give up. Having gotten sick from the virus himself, he believed vaccines were essential to fighting the pandemic. He spoke on television about his choice to get vaccinated and urged others, especially those with weak immune systems like his, to do the same. Not everyone agreed with his views on vaccines. Cavuto faced a lot of criticism and even threats from some viewers. He shared that people had called him many hurtful names. Despite this, he stuck to his beliefs, saying his own health problems had shown him how important vaccines are for keeping people safe. Neil has been married to Mary Fink since 1983, and she has been a big support for him, especially during his health challenges. He often says that his wife is the reason he's still here and he wouldn't have made it through without her. But that wasn't the hardest part. Together, they have 3 children, and even with his demanding career, Neil has made it clear that his family comes first, especially when it comes to his health. The movie Saving Private Ryan shocked viewers with its raw portrayal of war, but for some veterans, real life was even more intense. Let's dive into the story of Johnny Joey Jones, a former U.S. Marine who faced challenges in Afghanistan that could rival any movie. After losing both legs in combat, he went on to become a familiar face on Fox News, representing resilience in the face of adversity. Jones began his time in the Marines as a radio technician, assuming it would be a simple, low-risk job. His impression was shaped by the movie Full Metal Jacket, but he quickly realized there was more to the role. Soon, he was volunteering for more intense positions, which eventually led him to work in explosive ordnance disposal, a much riskier job. Jones grew up in Dalton, Georgia, in modest circumstances. His father was a bricklayer and his mother worked as a cleaner. He spent his summers helping his dad, and in the fall he played football. A life-changing conversation with his girlfriend Meg Garrison led him to enlist in the Marines. This decision became a turning point in his life, pushing him to grow and put others' needs before his own. As a Marine, he found his true calling as an EOD technician. He was inspired by the bravery of specialists he saw in Iraq in 2007 who risked their lives to disarm bombs. That bravery motivated him to take on the same dangerous but important job. In Afghanistan, his team was responsible for safely disarming many improvised explosive devices, IEDs, often risking their lives to protect others. But this wasn't the worst part. On August 6, 2010, his life took a dramatic turn. During a difficult mission to clear IEDs, he stepped on one and suffered severe injuries. He lost both of his legs and had injuries to his arms. Even in the midst of the pain and shock, his thoughts were with his teammate, Corporal Daniel Greer, who sadly lost his life from his injuries. His recovery began in a hospital in Germany and continued at Walter Reed in the US. His physical and emotional challenges were enormous. Learning to walk with prosthetics was tough, but his resilience was remarkable. Instead of being angry about his injuries, he focused on moving forward and dealing with the frustration and pain. During his recovery, he went to Georgetown University, where he made important contributions to programs supporting veterans. His efforts didn't stop there. His work with the Veterans Affairs Committee led to significant improvements in how veterans are supported, showing his ongoing dedication to his fellow servicemen and women. In 2019, he joined Fox News, where he didn't just talk about veteran issues. He discussed a wide range of topics, offering a voice that many found relatable. His background as a small-town guy resonated with audiences across the country, making sure voices from overlooked communities were heard. But the story doesn't end here. His commitment to helping others continued through his involvement with several veterans organizations. His dedication to helping others navigate life after service and his efforts to shift how people view disability and resilience are part of his lasting legacy. His life is a shining example of how resilience and purpose can grow from service, sacrifice, and determination. His story inspires many, showing how it's possible to overcome hardship and turn it into something meaningful. What do you think about Kayleigh McEnany's decision to go public with her BRCA2 mutation and preventive surgery? Could you make a similar decision if faced with such a risk? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more discussions like this.